I have some good news and I have some bad news, right? Francesca, the bad news is everything that's not going exactly the way you want it to is entirely your fault. Now, the good news is that everything that's not going exactly the way you want it to is entirely your fault. And why is that good news? Because if it was somebody else's fault, you can't fix it.
Welcome to Normalize the Conversation by Inspiring My Generation. I'm your host, Francesca. Today, I'm joined by Chris Burres, a scientist, published author, and co-founder of My Vital C, who specializes in health, longevity, and the impact of daily habits on overall well-being. In this episode, we talk about how sleep, nutrition, and stress can quietly affect your mental health, energy levels, and even physical symptoms like migraines. Join us as we explore the connection between everyday habits and how you feel, mentally and physically, and what small, realistic changes can help. Chris, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm very excited for our conversation, but before we begin, I want to check in. How are you really?
How am I really? That's a good question. I have a lot going on. So I am the chief scientist of a health and wellness company. I am also the chief scientist of a carbon nanomaterial manufacturing business. I'm also co-founder and owner of those. And so the tasks can pile up sometimes. So I literally just read an email from one of our business partners like, hey, is that thing done? Frankly, in my mind, it should have been done like 2 days ago, and it is my responsibility. So I feel like, not much stress, but I feel bad that I missed that target or even kind of my self-imposed target. Other than that, I am fantastic. I'm going to an event this weekend. It's an A4M event, which stands for the American Academy of Anti-Aging. It's in West Palm Beach, Florida. And my wife goes with me on these conferences because she owns a spa. And so the health and longevity stuff is great. So we get to spend time together and away from the kids. That's nice. And then we carved out an extra day. So I'm planning on just lounging on the beach on Monday and then get back to work on Tuesday.
Sounds like you have a lot of work stuff on your plate, but also able to balance out like that time to reset, time for family. I think that's really hard I know it's hard for me to do, right? Yeah. Being able to balance a lot of responsibilities, feeling like, oh, this should have been done earlier. Why haven't I finished it yet? And then forcing myself and pushing myself harder instead of giving myself a chance to breathe and reset. So I love that you do that.
Yeah. And a lot of it comes from my wife. My wife does a really good job of like, we're not working on weekends. We're not working, too late. Although I do tend to, I'm not that much of a morning person. So I kind of get started later in the day. And then that means I'm finishing a little bit later in the day. But when it comes to weekends and taking advantage of free time, my wife does an amazing job. And I'm very lucky that way.
I love that because again, for me, it's been so hard to find that balance. And I notice I don't sleep as much. I don't eat very well. I end up with more migraines. I don't want to say I don't make the effort to take care of myself because in my mind, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I just don't always pay attention that, hey, that actually wasn't healthy for me. I should have made sure I got 8 to 10 hours of sleep last night. Working till 3 a.m. isn't taking care of myself. It's actually draining me. And then I have a migraine and I'm wondering why. But it's like I skipped meals. Like this week I forgot to grocery shop and all I had was frozen cauliflower. So that's been like my breakfast for the past week. That's not helping. And then I'm like, what's the migraine? So,
I literally interviewed a guy yesterday who was like, in my podcast, I ask, what is a tip? And he was like, tip number 1, eat protein for breakfast. So you're like starving. You can have as much cauliflower as you want. You're still going to be hungry not too long into the future, right? It's not a satiating thing and doesn't kind of program you for the right day. So, and I know, fix that. I'm going to suggest.
I really need to. It's so hard to know like what to do. At least for me, a lot of times I feel like I'm just always in a rush and I'm not paying attention. So then I just grab what's convenient, which is apparently frozen cauliflower. And then I just work until my eyes are so drained that I just fall asleep that way instead of making sure, because I don't know how to get myself to sleep. I don't know how to like take that break and then just get ready for bed in a way that improves my sleep hygiene. I don't know how to figure out what is causing my migraines. I don't know how to figure out what is a healthy, balanced diet for me. So I always feel kind of stuck in, I'll just do what I'm doing and nothing's going to change because it's semi-working.
Mm. Have you played around with blue light blocking glasses?
I have not. What is that?
So if you're on your computer, which it sounds like you are, like you can literally be on a computer until 3 a.m. and you're wired, like you're good. What's going on is all the blue light coming off of your monitor. Blue light is at its peak when the sun is in the middle of the sky, so at noon. So that blue light is telling your physiology it's noon. Right. So your physiology is going like, we got to be ready. Like we're supposed to be hunting or fishing or something like something's supposed to be happening here. And then you can turn around and you're just you realize how tired you are, but not when you're looking at those devices. So they make blue light blocking glasses that you should wear when you're at your computer, starting about an hour after sunset or even right at sunset. And once you put those on, it'll disrupt that signal that's telling your physiology that it's noon. And now you'll probably just kind of more naturally, you won't be bombarded with it's noon, it's noon, it's noon. And now you're just like, well, I'm kind of tired, and that'll allow those natural signals to kick in and get you to sleep sooner. So I like that would probably make a dramatic difference.
Wait, is that why I get more like productive, hyper focus, like late at night?
Well, there are people who are, morning birds and night owls, and I'm more of a night owl, kind of always have been. So I think there's some of some of that programming in you. But you have to also think, if you're not getting enough sleep, you're not getting sleep till 3, then you're not waking up until later, and then you have stuff to do. Hopefully, you're getting some sort of exercise. I don't know if you, and that can be, let's not call it exercise, let's call it movement. That's got to be that you got to get that into it. And, if you can build that really twice a day would be great. But if you can build that into first thing in the morning, I'm getting outside, I'm going for a walk, I'm getting the sun in my eyes, potentially without sunglasses, right? A lot of people are talking about how the sunlight getting into your eyes, not looking at the sun, let's just be clear about that, but sunlight getting into your eyes is also a physiological indication that it's morning. So now you get your circadian rhythm in line with the rising and falling of the sun. And now you got the blue light blockers that are keeping your circadian, or preventing the disruption that the blue light causes to your circadian rhythm. Those types of things could really compound, like literally add blue light glasses and go for a walk first thing in the morning. Like you would probably dramatically change your sleep routine.
Wow. And that's so easy. I often do, so I'll end up going to bed between 2:45, 3, and then I'm up usually 6:37. So I'm not giving myself enough sleep, and then I'm going into things I need to get done. And I try to squeeze in like tennis or pickleball or a walk, like at any point in the afternoon, wherever I found like a break in my schedule. But I don't realize how much that's impacting me. It's probably why I'm getting so many migraines and feeling so kind of just drained, seeing my mental health go down. And it's something so simple like sunglasses and blue light glasses that can make a difference.
Yeah, it can.
Wait, what else can I do?
Let's see. So what else? So definitely get the walks in the morning, right? With the sun. It sounds like you're still committed to afternoon. So definitely get the walks in the morning with the sun. And then also be mindful of eating, right? You kind of talked about eating cauliflower. It's just not the best breakfast. And even if you're doing intermittent fasting or whatever, it doesn't matter what you're doing, that first meal. And I remember my mom, before a lot of people were really talking about meals and when to eat protein, etc. Early on, my mom was like, you should eat some cheese in the morning, right? Because it just sticks with you better, right? It's more satiating. So get that protein in the morning, or as the first meal. So I do intermittent fasting. I have a cup of coffee with a little bit of milk in it, and then I don't eat until 3, and that's fine. Unless I do a hard training, then I'm loading up on protein immediately after the hard training. So to get that protein, whatever the time frame is, that'll set your digestion, and stick to it as much as you can. I know it can be tough, but stick to it. Your phone has a blue light blocking setting, and you can actually do this on every computer. Like, you could do this as soon as we get off of this interview. You just go like, are you Mac or PC?
A PC.
So if you're PC, there is a setting, like just Google it, and it'll walk you through how to change the setting so that at like 7 p.m. it goes blue, right? So if you're doing graphics work, you got to turn it off. But if you're just reading, if you're just consuming content or typing content, then you can get that blue light. That will have a significant reduction. I still would recommend the glasses, but those are some things that you can do. And keep the same schedule. I don't know if you do different things on weekends, right? Like when I was your age, I was going out late on weekends, and that's not a good plan. Try and keep this similar schedule as much as possible. But also, you've already described that you struggle to get out of the house, so you need to be doing social things.
It's so hard to want to do social things when you're just feeling drained. So maybe, I can't believe there's this blue light setting on my phone and computer, and I had no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what it was. Okay. So yeah. I need to do that. Protein. My mom and my friend are going to be they're going to be like, I told you. Protein. And I'm like, but cauliflower. That's what I have.
Yeah, well, eat what you have, right. But also, go to the store and just pick up a block of cheese. Yeah. Like something, so that you've got, like, there are fast protein things that are, again, recognizable as food. You want to be shopping from the exterior of the grocery store, not the interior, except for one thing. People talk about that all the time. And the one thing is spices, because spices are in the interior, but they are recognizable. And so there's lots of things that you can get that don't require cooking. You don't have to spend that much time at the store to get them. And maybe have some whey protein that's good. So like, I'm stuck with cauliflower, but I can't go to the store, have a protein shake.
That's smart. Okay. My big thing is I don't cook. So if it's not like easy to throw in the microwave, it's difficult. But I could also be buying like a rotisserie chicken, right? I could be adding protein, like you said, block of cheese. I just don't. Wait, so why is it the exterior of the grocery store? Is that because that's where like the produce?
Well, that's just where, it's produce. It's the, the meats are on the exterior, the eggs, the yogurts. Like, it just turns out that's how grocery stores are laid out, is that everything, well, here's what it is. That's where it's easier to refrigerate, and everything that you might want typically to consume as a whole food, tends to rot. And so those things that don't rot get on the interior of the store. So they're in cans and boxes and whatever. And those are the things that you, in general, want to stay away from.
Okay, so that's like all the processed stuff.
Yep.
And does that increase like inflammation and stuff in your body?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, if you just start eating whole foods, and if you want to pick 3 triggers, did I share I think I shared A2 milk with you in our first conversation. Yes. Yeah, I don't know if you've tried that yet.
I haven't gone to the store.
You haven't been to the store since we last spoke?
I'm on my frozen food.
So A2, really a good tweak. We'll share with the audience. I learned this from Dr. Gundry. He's an amazing guy. I've had the privilege of interviewing him on my podcast. And he talks about when cows were brought over from Europe, there was a genetic mutation in these cows that caused something that farmers are ecstatic about, meaning it was specifically the cows produce more milk, but it changed their protein, the casein protein that they produce, from A2 to A1. So genetically, we're less able to manage A1 protein versus A2 from an evolutionary standpoint. And so you can go buy A2 milk. It's really easy to find. You go to the milk section and there's a box, blue or red, that says A2 on it. super easy. And I've recommended this to people, actually like friends and neighbors, and they're like, you have changed my life just because I recommended A2 milk. Feels really good. A number of people that I know who are significantly lactose intolerant can tolerate, so it's still not easy on their gut, but significantly better on their gut. A2 milk is than A1 for people who are lactose intolerant. So, that's a thing. Yogurts, what I do with yogurts, actually, when I'm loading up on protein, I take about 3/4 of Fage yogurt, that's Fage. It's a Greek yogurt, super simple, low in fat, and then I put a scoop of protein in it. So I'm getting about, I think it's, 39 grams of protein in 3/4 of a cup. And then I actually add, because yogurts the texture is kind of bland, right? You need something crunchy in it. So there's a cereal called Magic Spoon, which is a high protein cereal. So I'm just putting some handfuls in it every now and then to give it some crunch. That is a great, you could have that on hand. I don't know if you like yogurt, there might be things that you're not enjoying, but that's a great way to have a meal that's high in protein, that's going to satiate you and help you make better decisions later. It might help you make the decision to go to the grocery store.
No, I really do need to go. I don't know why I hate going into a grocery store, but I need to get over that. So, okay, I like yogurt with fruit and chocolate chips, but I guess if I put a cereal into it instead, I'm still getting something with it.
Well, yeah, the yogurt's great. The chocolate chips, if you're staying away from the sugar in chocolate chips. And then for me, again, the texture, just to eat a whole 3/4 of a cup of yogurt is just kind of mushy. So yeah, you want some crunch. And even if you're putting in, basically almost all cereals are garbage. You should never be eating cereals. Magic Spoon is one that has high protein. It's super processed, and I haven't played around with a glucose monitor. I'm pretty sure it probably spikes my blood sugar level, my glucose level, but at least you don't need that much, right? So you're not adding that much garbage to a super healthy, Fage yogurt. So it's a good strategy.
So we've got early morning walk, blue light glasses, sunglasses when I walk.
No.
No. Okay.
No. Now, if you're going to be out all day, you might want sunglasses. There's some debate about the impact that it will have on your cataracts, causing cataracts. But I believe that some good sunlight directly in your eyes, these are prescription glasses. I'll actually take them off for a while when I'm walking, just to get natural light into my eyes. Okay.
And then A2 milk, protein. Is there anything else I can do to help me, I guess, feel?
If you're eating out of boxes, this is going to be hard, right? Because you're trying to get rid of preservatives, and you're trying to get rid of gluten specifically, but wheat in general. I ate what did I eat yesterday? An empanada yesterday. So delicious. Whatever. I feel it. When you get off of wheat, you can feel the impact, the bloating that happens from wheat. The first place I noticed this was with beer. So if I would have a beer or a couple beers, I just feel like you remember Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and you got the blueberry girl, right, who just blows up. That's how I feel after a beer. And I've tested, I'm not particularly sensitive to gluten. So this is happening to probably everyone out there. It's one of the things so I would recommend I just buy 3 pounds of turkey, and I cook it with chili powder. That's it, right? A pre-mixed package of chili powder. And that's my food for the week. Then you don't have to think about, that's not cooking like my wife cooks. She's an amazing cook. I'm very lucky that way. And I know you don't like cooking. That's not cooking. You're just mixing the meat, and you're putting some spices in it. Maybe chop up some onions, whatever, it'd be nice. But you're not cooking. You're just, browning the meat, and that's it. So that starts to get you on a path where you've got something that's resident that you can eat on a regular basis. That isn't going to have the preservatives, that isn't going to have the wheat, and in general, I would say, stay away from wheat and dairy, but I think A2 is an alternative. That's certainly what's in my coffee, right? I put a little bit of A2 milk in my coffee.
Okay. And then all of this nutritious changes will help reduce inflammation. Will that help with like chronic pain, migraines, stuff like that?
Everything.
Okay.
Everything. Every ache, pain, autoimmune disease has as its foundation inflammation. So I've interviewed so many people, rheumatoid arthritis, get rid of wheat, dairy, specifically gluten, but wheat, dairy, and sugar. That's the other one. Stay away from sugar. That's why I was like, if you're going to put chocolate chips into your yogurt, that's fine. Just make sure that they're, the bitter chocolate, like they're 90% cacao and very little sugar. Cured rheumatoid arthritis. The book by Dr. Tom O'Brien, The Autoimmune Fixed, is about like fixing your diet to get rid of autoimmune disease. I think that everybody is on some spectrum of autoimmune disease directly related to how inflamed they are, and everyone is a little bit inflamed. So you've got to be managing that with diet and exercise and great sleep.
That's so interesting. It's so, I wish there were more conversations like this. I feel like when I got older and transitioned to living alone, it was how to just figure it out, right? Like if you don't want to cook, just microwave something. And I just went straight to like vegetables are easy to do. And I guess looking back at the past maybe year, I've gone from less like protein to more just like microwave some cauliflower and make things easy. But I didn't realize that. Like I had a chocolate chip cookie for dinner last night. Everything I'm doing, it sounds like, is perpetuating my migraines, which are then impacting my mental health because I'm in so much pain. I just don't feel good. And then I start to feel down and I slip into more of a depressive mood because it's so much pain all the time.
And you just painted a pretty bleak picture. It's actually worse than that. It's actually worse than that because when you have those sugars, when you have those wheats and the cookies, you actually cultivate the wrong bacteria in your gut. And there's the gut-brain axis, the communication between your brain and your gut, 90% of the communication goes up from your gut, right? So it's the predominant information provider to your brain, and it's the bacteria in your gut going, we need more sugar, we need more chocolate, we need more cookies. Like that causes you to crave them. If you've ever kind of abstained from sugar long enough, you will realize that your cravings will go basically to zero. Like you know what it tastes like, whatever, but you're not walking around craving them. When you cultivate, part of the reason you have protein in the morning, when you cultivate those bacteria to be the right kind of gut bacteria, Dr. Gundry calls them gut buddies, then now you're going like, hey, we need more veggies, we need more healthy proteins, we need the right stuff. And so it's bad enough that it has all this negative impact, but it's also causing you to crave more of what is causing all of this negative impact.
But when I give into a craving, it's not. That's why I crave it more the next day. I'm always like, I was craving this. I had it. Why do I want more? That makes sense.
Because your gut bacteria is not satisfied. It wants more. And it's usually the wrong gut bacteria that's doing the wrong stuff in your gut, right? That's causing leaky gut, that's causing problems, and pushing out your healthy gut bacteria that are actually doing good things for you. They're just all trying to survive, right? Like they're all trying to survive. And if they can give off chemical signals that cause you to do more, then they've figured out how to give off chemical signals to cause you to want to eat more chocolate chip cookies. And it's crazy, right? Like so this is fascinating. When you're born, you're about 98% human cells and 2% kind of bacteria. As you sit here in front of me today, you're 99% bacteria cells and 1%, 1 or 2% human cells. There are more bacteria in you and on you and around you than there are cells.
Wait, explain more of the science behind this, because this is really cool.
Well, if you just look at, the amount of gut bacteria versus the number of cells that you have that represent your body, right? Because I don't know what the ratio is by weight, but in terms of count of cells, again, you're 98, 99% bacteria and 1 or 2% human cells. Kidney cells, liver cells, eye cells, skin cells. The most of you is bacteria in terms of cell counts as you sit here today.
So there's good bacteria and bad bacteria though, right? So how do you, I guess what you're eating is what's determining that?
That's the biggest determining factor for sure.
So I'm doing all this to myself. That's great. Okay, so then.
So I say this regularly. I have some good news and I have some bad news, right? Francesca, the bad news is everything that's not going exactly the way you want it to is entirely your fault. Now, the good news is that everything that's not going exactly the way you want it to is entirely your fault. And why is that good news? Because if it was somebody else's fault, you can't fix it.
You have a lot more.
You should be very happy that the pieces of your life that you might describe as a disaster in low moments are your fault because you can fix them.
Okay, that gives me a bit of like hope toward maybe there's things I can do to help reduce my migraines because I feel so much of a lack of control in it. Right? I'm like, oh, this happened again. I don't know why it's happening. I don't know what to do. I'm taking the preventative medications, which has reduced it a little bit. I meet with the clinical pharmacist like every 3 weeks to see like what changes we can make to the medication and just like playing a game with it. But it sounds like I have a lot more control in decisions I make every day that can also impact it. And maybe the medication is great for me, maybe not. But since it's just something that we've been playing around with so much and it's still not really going away, it has to be something that I'm doing.
Yeah, well, and if you think about it, it makes perfect sense that what you put in your mouth, right? Of course, the air you breathe is important as well. But what you put in your mouth should govern everything.
Yeah.
Right? Like it should. Like I'm eating food. My body is reacting to that food. I'm eating the right food. You don't get enough water, you die. You get thirsty and you die, right? Like this, the things that go in your mouth are the things that really matter. And then there's more tiers of it. So as it's going through your intestinal tract, the things that can actually cross the gut barrier are also more important. And if you have leaky gut, now you've got things that are going into your physiology from your intestinal tract that maybe shouldn't. And now that's really the fundamental cause of autoimmune disease, which is there are things floating around your blood system. By the way, Gundry's kind of approach to this is there are lectins. Gluten is the most famous lectin. We all know that there are gluten-free, all sorts of stuff that exists because it is that much of an irritant to some people. It is an irritant to most people, I believe. And then you throw in glyphosate, and you can debate if you fix your gut barrier, then you can start to eat gluten and not have any negative impacts. So what gets through the gut barrier is important, and if your gut barrier isn't cinched up tight, so just to describe it, they describe the gut barrier as the same size as a tennis court, since you're going to go play tennis, but one cell thick. It's only one cell, but the same size. So imagine any junction in this whole tennis court that is open enough for a protein that shouldn't be getting through to get through. Now something that's not supposed to get through is into your physiology. And, Dr. Gundry leans on lectins, which are the proteins that plants eat to convince animals not to eat the plant. See, plants can't move, so their only defense is a chemical warfare. And that chemical warfare is called lectins. Gluten is the most familiar and probably arguably the most damaging, but it is not the only one.
Okay. I have so much to think about when it comes. Maybe I'll go to the grocery store after tennis today.
I'm sorry, I thought you said maybe.
I will.
There we go.
Grocery store. It also requires driving. It requires so many things that I don't love to do. I'm going to work on that.
I mean, it requires going out, but everyone. So you're an introvert, right? Like you get energy. Do you get energy when you're by yourself, or do you get energy sometimes when you're in crowds? Ever? Like, do you ever get energy when you're hanging out with people?
Yeah, I think I'm more of like an extroverted introvert because when I go to events, right? I can match people's energy. I love being on stage and speaking. But then as soon as it's over, I'm so drained, and
Okay.
I
Yeah.
describe it as like an event hangover.
Yeah, well, you're just an introvert, right? That's where you get your energy. Who knows how to be outgoing? Because being outgoing and introversion are two different things. Introversion is where you get your energy, right? Extroversion is literally my wife in a crowded group of people where I think I might die is having the best time of her life, right? And it's like so crowded. This is crazy. I don't want to be here. And I'm probably omnivert, kind of in between. But you can absolutely be an introvert who's outgoing, and you could also be an extrovert who's kind of reserved. We have a couple here at our office, and actually he pointed this out to us that he is a talkative introvert, and his wife is a quiet extrovert. So she's excited to be around people and doesn't say much. And he's not that excited to be around people and will talk all night long. Because introversion and extroversion are not how good or bad you are at communicating.
I didn't know that. All right. So yeah, I'm definitely an introvert. I do not love going out. And I'm fine when I'm there. And then as soon as I get home, I'm so drained and like, thank goodness I'm to myself and can read a book. So yeah, going to the grocery store, I will go. I will go.
Okay, and remember this. So they did a study with, they did kind of a survey to identify people as either introverts or extroverts. And then they put them in a situation where they had to walk across campus and had to interact with somebody, right? And then they took a survey on the other side of that interaction. And what they were trying to do is assess how much did they enjoy the interaction. And what do you think the outcome was? Compared to extroverts, how much did introverts enjoy the interaction?
I feel like they enjoyed it, but maybe because I feel like I enjoy the interaction, just I don't feel like afterwards is when I feel really drained by it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They enjoyed it the same. Right? Because we are in fact social creatures. And, my son is somewhat of an introvert, and he's also a little bit on the spectrum. So he struggles socially. So I'm constantly talking to him about how he needs to put himself in situations where he's interacting with other people. Like this is really, really important because the data, so he is a very analytical guy. And so the data is you don't have relationships, you're killing yourself. So you don't go out, you're actually killing yourself because it's people with relationships and community, et cetera, who live longer. So this is a stretch, but it's not an unreasonable kind of description, is if you're not pushing yourself to be in social situations, then you're actually doing harm to yourself.
Okay, I'm going to try to socialize.
And don't set a goal. I'm going to go out every night, or I'm going to, just set a goal of, you're probably much better or much more comfortable with like one or two friends.
Yes.
So go have coffee with one or two friends every week. Okay. Because I have the impression maybe you're not doing that.
I will play pickleball once a week with one friend. As soon as other friends want to join, I'm like, too much. Like one-on-one is really where I thrive. And I can't do it every day. It's so hard. But yeah, if I keep doing it once a week and then maybe eventually twice a week, doing other things will be helpful.
I think that's a great plan. Right. Okay. And maybe even do you stop afterwards to have, I don't know, a tea or a beer or whatever?
Oh, okay. So longer than an hour.
Look, that's okay. Get to pickleball. I'd rather you do something social more frequently for shorter periods of time. Yeah. That's actually more valuable to your mental health than, going out for 3 hours with somebody. That's not necessary. Go out for a 20-minute coffee, whatever, a 1 hour pickleball, whatever that looks like. More frequently is significantly healthier for you than long term.
Okay. That's good. I'm really going to try to make these changes. I'm going to write this all down right after and set goals, at least one change a week, right? Not to overwhelm myself, because I think that's a big thing for me is you hear all these things you should be doing, and then I know I'll try to make every change at once. and
It's
then I get
overwhelming.
overwhelmed. Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that. Just go shopping today and get stuff that you can cook, right? Well, it's not cooking, that you can brown. I don't think of it as cooking because I think you don't enjoy cooking. That's fine. That you can brown just so you have, healthy stuff that's around. And cauliflower is not unhealthy. It just doesn't have any protein. So no, I mean, I'm sure there's some in there, but.
So I'll add like turkey meat to ground turkey to my cauliflower. Compromise.
Yep.
Okay, I love it. So then let's talk a little bit about My Vital C and the product.
I wanted to ask, so when was your last migraine?
Like 2 days, 3 days ago.
And how long have you been taking My Vital C?
About a week and a half.
Week and a half. I'm going to recommend that you double up on your servings.
Okay.
Because we do have a lot of powerful, and again, this may or may not work for you. I can't make any claims. The FDA has not evaluated our product. It is not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease. But my own case, the case of my wife, so many other cases, it would not surprise me that this helps. And have you noticed that you're dreaming more?
Yes, that's been a new thing for me, and I'm remembering my dreams.
You would have never thought that was
happening.
Because of My Vital C. Because of what it's doing at such a fundamental level in your body, that the way I think about it, and this is absolutely a so you get multiple sleep cycles in a night. I think the goal is to get somewhere between 5 and 6 sleep cycles a night. They're about 90 minutes, right? So in a sleep cycle, you're going through REM sleep, not REM sleep, and deep sleep, and you're doing different repair things. My thought process, because we believe what this ESS60 molecule is doing in the body, let's talk about that, right? So what is this molecule, right? So I'm the oldest and longest manufacturer and distributor of this ESS60 molecule on the planet. I've been manufacturing this molecule since 1991. The molecule was actually discovered in 1985 at Rice University here in Houston. That's where we're based. And the 3 scientists who discovered it won the Nobel Prize for that discovery in 1996. My lab started manufacturing it and distributing it in 1991, a full 5 years before they were awarded the Nobel Prize. This molecule is amazing. Not only is it pretty, there's actually a book called The Most Beautiful Molecule written just about this molecule. Not only is it pretty, it's actually amazing. It performs as well or better than the current best materials in almost every application. So it makes better inks, better batteries, better tires, better photocells. And this is where people often get nervous. She's like, he was just recommending she take it. In fact, take twice as much. He just said inks, batteries, tires, and photocells. This doesn't make sense. And the story actually gets a little worse first for various reasons. Really, it's this one shape that is reminiscent of benzene on the exterior of this molecule that actually occurs 20 times. So it's a different formula, but the same shape. Benzene is known to be toxic, known to be carcinogenic, and so they thought this molecule would be toxic. They put it in a toxicity study. Instead of being toxic, the test subjects, in this case Wistar rats, lived 90% longer than the control group. So that's the single longest longevity experimental result on mammals in history, peer-reviewed, published research. And my lab provided the material. My lab is mentioned in that original study. And what the current theory about what this is doing in the body is called the BOSS theory. It stands for Buffering Oxidative Stress System. So we know from peer-reviewed published research that this ESS60 molecule gets into the mitochondria. We also know from way back in the 90s when it was discovered that it can hold up to 6 negatively charged particles on the exterior of this cage. So what that looks like is mitochondria, the powerhouse of every cell. There's between 50 and 5,000 mitochondria in every cell in your body, except for your blood cells, which have 0, and your brain and neurons, which have 2 million. So this is where it starts to get really interesting. We'll come back to the 2 million mitochondria and brain cells. Like every power source, right? Your mitochondria is the powerhouse of every cell. Like every power source, there is a negative byproduct. You think about a car going down the road, it's got exhaust. You think about a power plant, it's got a smokestack. In the case of mitochondria, the negative byproduct is reactive oxygen species. I think about these like little bumper cars, right? So they're running around your body. If they're left to their own devices, like little bumper cars, and everything they smack into, they cause rust, oxidative stress, oxidative damage, which sounds horrible. Like, that's bad. There's lots of things in our system that do that. And like many biological systems in our physiology, there is a way to manage this, and that is the antioxidants, glutathione and melatonin. I'd like to pause here for just 1 second. Our most consistent testimonial is people take the product in the morning, they report mental focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep that night. We're talking about the key components to manage these reactive oxygen species being glutathione and melatonin. Melatonin, the sleep hormone. So nice parallel with our most consistent testimonial and tied to the dreams that you're having now. So, in a normal, kind of healthy mitochondria, unstressed mitochondria, it's producing energy, it's producing these reactive oxygen species, and they're being managed by glutathione and melatonin. But what happens when you stress a mitochondria? First off, how do you stress a mitochondria? I like to point out, if you're alive in modern society, you have stressed mitochondria, right? So your cell phone gives off EMF radiation, your blue light coming off of this, eating cauliflower and not protein, stressing your mitochondria. Exercise stresses your mitochondria in a good way. You need to continue to do that. So if you're like stressful emails, stressful driving in traffic, stressful interactions with people, all of this causes stress in your mitochondria. And that's when it starts producing more reactive oxygen species than can be managed. And that's when they run around like little bumper cars, causing that oxidative stress and oxidative damage. And that's where the ESS60 molecule comes in. Again, we know from peer-reviewed published research, it's in the mitochondria. We also know from way back in the 90s, it can hold up to 6 negatively charged particles. So we believe it's holding on to these reactive oxygen species so they can't run around like little bumper cars. And then when that mitochondria replenishes the glutathione, replenishes the melatonin, then they can manage those reactive oxygen species appropriately. And that's why we say that this ESS60 molecule is the boss. Now, that was lots of sciencey stuff. I have a good analogy, and it's a fun analogy. I believe all biological analogies should start with Mardi Gras. I mean, a lot of biology happens at Mardi Gras, so why not? So it's the end of Mardi Gras, and you've got these drunk reactive oxygen species on Bourbon Street running around like little bumper cars, causing spray painting walls, smashing windows, and you have the New Orleans Police Department, the glutathione and the melatonin coming onto Bourbon Street, handcuffing themselves to these reactive oxygen species and getting them off of Bourbon Street. But what does the New Orleans Police Department do when they get overwhelmed? They take those reactive oxygens, those drunk reactive oxygen species, and they put them in a paddy wagon. They attach them to the exterior of this ESS60 molecule so they can't run around and do any damage. And then when the New Orleans Police Department can replenish the glutathione, replenish the melatonin, then they can manage those reactive oxygen species, handcuff themselves to those reactive oxygen species, and get them off of Bourbon Street. So the fundamental summary is, we believe we're reducing the negative impact of stressed mitochondria. And if you reduce the negative impact of stressed mitochondria, you should have systemic benefits. You should have what we have, which are head-to-toe testimonials. So now let's come back to migraines. Let's come back even to kind of emotional balance. And remember, our most consistent testimonial is entirely brain-related. Focus and energy during the day, sleep at night. So when you're going through these 90-minute sleep cycles, you've got a checklist, right? You've got to fix your mitochondria, you've got to repair your muscles, you've got to replace some tissues, you've got to cement knowledge, right? If you don't get proper sleep, by the way, if you're studying and learning and you don't get an 8-hour sleep, you don't remember as well. Right? That sleep is as important as anything. You also have to store your muscle memories. So if you're learning how to play tennis, right, and you're doing some new stroke or two-handed backhand or whatever it is that you're doing, if you don't get enough sleep that night, you don't store those memories where they need to be stored. So these are all important. And with the ESS60 molecule, the mitochondria is already taken care of. So now you have the 90 minutes, you're supposed to take care of mitochondria and a bunch of other things. Now you don't have to take care of mitochondria because it's already taken care of. You can spend, your physiology can spend more time, your brain can spend more time on other things, like processing emotions, and the way we process emotions is with dreams during REM sleep, right? Rapid eye movement sleep. So that's why I think you're remembering dreams more. And this is the second conversation I've had this week about people who have just started and they're like, yeah, I'm not sure really, I haven't noticed anything. How about dreams? Oh yeah, no, like I usually don't remember my dreams. Boom, you're remembering your dreams. One of the things I love about that is like, if you were to say, oh, I'm dreaming longer, like that's super subjective, right? Like it's just, right? But when you're like, I used to not remember my dreams and I am now remembering my dreams, that's binary, right? Like it didn't happen and now it's happening, which is where the most valuable testimonials come in.
Yeah, I really was wondering because I was like, I never dream. What is happening? That makes sense. Wait, that's so cool.
And by the way, like the science will say you always dream, right? Maybe you're dreaming shorter and maybe you're not remembering because you're going to that next task. You're like, I can't even store this in any sort of memory because I got so much work to do and she's only going to give me 4 hours to do it.
I'm really doing all this to myself. Okay, so how can people learn more about you, My Vital C, ESS 60?
Yeah, so we made a URL for your audience. I don't know if we talked about this in our first call. Did we?
Yes, we did.
We did. What do you remember? What was it? myvitalc.com/normalize, or what do you remember what we made the URL?
Oh, I really don't.
It is now myvitalc.com/normalize, right?
Love it.
And if you go to that page, it's specifically for your audience. There's a $30 off coupon code. That coupon code applies to the things on that page. We've put the most discounts available on that page because we really want anybody who's interested in trying this, great, go try it. A couple things when you land on that page. I did a longevity summit. I interviewed 57 experts in longevity, and I asked them all for tips. And then I compiled those tips into 18 biohacking tips. So some of the people I interviewed were Dr. Stephen Gunry, Ben Greenfield, Dave Asprey, the father of Bulletproof Coffee, Tom O'Brien, who I mentioned earlier. So we just need your name and email, and you'll get your 18 biohacking tips for free. We have specials as you go down the page. It's a 2, 3, and 6 bottle special. The 40% discount is on 6 plus the additional 30 off, so it's a great deal. The reason we did it on 6 is we think about our product as a 3-month time frame, right? And it has parallels with our most consistent testimonial that people take the product in the morning, they report mental focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep that night. And so month 1 is really focus and energy. And the testimonial I lean on here is we got some product to an influencer. She took the product, recorded a video, and she shared that she didn't finish her cup of coffee that day. Now, if you're a coffee drinker, like not finishing your cup of coffee is a big deal. Noticing it, mentioning it in a video, all a big deal. I will share, I used to be a 2 to 3 cup of coffee per day person. I'm now more of a 1/2 to 1. It's really part of the routine. It's part of my routine. So that's what we look for and see in month 1. There is one other piece. It's well documented in the literature that if you replace saturated fats with a healthy oil like olive oil, you can have weight loss benefits. And so that is something that people see in month 1. Month 2 is really about sleep. I think sleep is happening all along, just like in your case. Like you didn't attribute the dreams to the product, right?
Yeah.
Because it's hard to make that connection. And part of it, you're probably, frankly, waking up better off. So those nights that you're only getting 4 hours of sleep, you're waking up a little crisper. You're still not perfect, but better than if you had gotten 4 hours of sleep 2 weeks ago. And so what happens is everybody gets a little bit more or less sleep every night, right? It has a lot of variables in sleep. Some people remember dreams. Some people don't remember dreams. And it takes about 2 months to go like, hey, wait, this all changed when I started taking My Vital C. So that bleeds into month 2. The testimonial I lean on here is my business coach. He describes it this way. For 50 years, I needed an alarm clock to wake up. When I take My Vital C, I wake up without the alarm clock. And I like to point out, he's a business coach. He's got late night mixers, late night dinners. None of that matters unless he doesn't get the product for like 10 days. Then he starts to need the alarm clock again, which coincides with, in the literature, we believe this molecule is cleared out of your system in about 10 days. And then finally, month 3, this is when you're reducing the negative impact of stress mitochondria, right? And if you reduce the negative impact, you've got systemic benefits. We actually have benefits and testimonials that are so amazing and frankly disease specific that we can't share them, right? The FDA needs us to do significantly more research and frankly really expensive research in order to even be able to share them, let alone, talk about them as a benefit. So what I share here is my father-in-law was walking with a cane at about the 3-month mark, taking this product. He stopped using the cane. He started walking further. When you're walking further, he started losing weight, and that had this kind of whole systemic benefit. And that's the kind of thing that we see in month 3. So because we see a 3-month, we kind of recommend this 3-month experience, the best deal is on 6 bottles so that you can have 3. And you could give 3 away to somebody else that you think might benefit from this, or you could be like me. I would be selfish and I would take all 6 for myself. So that's why we put that out there. But there is an additional discount for subscription. You can cancel subscription at any time. So even if you're interested in just like trying 6 bottles or 3 or 2, whatever it is, go ahead and go on subscription. Our customer service team has 1,000 5-star reviews on Google. They are not trained to talk you out of canceling your subscription. They're trained to help you, and they do an amazing job. It just turns out that most people don't cancel their subscription. So go ahead and go on subscription. As you go a little bit farther down the page, you have been playing around with our Skin Reduo set, right? Like this is the Reduo set. I'm actually holding a really fancy box. It's got 2 bottles in it. One bottle is a lotion. It's a peptide lotion. The peptide, we call it UTH29. So Youth 29. And it's water soluble. We wanted to put this because it's got 30 years of research, peer-reviewed published research on skin and hair improvement, and we wanted to combine it with our ESS60 molecule. Our ESS60 molecule is in oil. It's oil soluble. The peptide is in water. It's water soluble. We could have shoved these 2 things together with an emulsifier, but I don't like how an emulsifier sounds. You probably don't either. And the reality is there's no health benefits. There's only detractions for emulsifiers, so we kept them separate. So my routine is 2 squirts of the UTH29 lotion in my hand, 4 drops, so it's 2 drops per squirt, so 4 drops of the ESS60 activator. I'm activating it real time in the palm of my hand, and then just applying it to everything that ages. So at that section of the website, our most popular is our inside out, right? So if you're going to take care of your insides, you might as well take care of your outside. So it's the 4-ounce bottle that we mentioned earlier, and the Skin Reduo. It's also in a 2, 3, and 6 option. And also there is a subscription piece. And then finally, at the bottom of the page, my book. So I wrote a book called Live Longer and Better. Your journey to living longer and better has never been more achievable than today. The book is available on Amazon for $19.95, or at the bottom of your link, and you can get it also for $19.99. I think it's $19.99. For $10 extra, I'll autograph that book for you. 100% of that $10 fee goes to Operation Underground Railroad. You may remember an amazing movie called The Sound of Freedom about a horrible topic, which is child exploitation. Operation Underground Railroad is the organization that movie is about, and they're doing a great job wiping child exploitation off of our planet. So 100% of that signature fee goes to Operation Underground Railroad.
Amazing. Okay, so I will put the link in the description for everyone who's listening. And I just want to say, Chris, thank you so much for joining me, for giving me all these tips and tricks that I am going to start implementing. I'm even going to go to the grocery store today.
That's a language shift. Well done.
I know. I'm going to stick to it. I promise. I swear.
Good.
But thank you.
You deserve it.
Oh.
Right. So one of my favorite phrases is, you just make sure that you remember You deserve the best of everything.
Thank you so much for listening to Normalize the Conversation. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. This podcast is an initiative of Inspiring My Generation, focusing on normalizing the conversation, bringing education and awareness to the forefront, and amplifying global voices to spark change and hope. Inspiring My Generation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization on a mission towards suicide prevention through awareness, conversation, education, and support. Connect with us on Instagram at Inspiring My Generation and visit our website inspiringmygeneration.org to learn more about our work and how you can make a difference.